Have you ever wondered what really separates the people who achieve these incredible things from, well, everyone else? It's not just talent, and it's definitely not luck. Turns out, it's science. We're about to dive into the biology that can make anyone an unstoppable force, once you know how to switch it on. And that really gets to the heart of everything we're talking about today. Just think about that question. What if being unstoppable isn't some personality trait you're born with? What if it's a skill? Something that you can learn, practice, and eventually master?
Because this is what it really means. Being unstoppable has nothing to do with never failing. No way. It's about completely changing your relationship with failure. It stops being this big, scary roadblock and just becomes data, a stepping stone that just doesn't have the power to stop you anymore.
Now, there's actually a scientific name for this. It's called behavioral persistence. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The raw ability to keep pushing forward even when you're uncomfortable, scared, or just plain bored. And here's the best part. It's trainable. Every single time you push through that discomfort, you're literally strengthening that persistence, just like doing a rep at the gym.
Okay, so if it's a mental muscle, how do we train it? Well, we have to start by understanding what fuels it. And that fuel source is your brain's dopamine system. It's the chemical engine driving your progress, and it's running inside your head right now.
You know, most of us think of dopamine as the pleasure chemical, right? But that's a huge misunderstanding. When we're talking about achievement, dopamine is the progress chemical. Your brain releases it not just when you get the reward, but in anticipation of it. It creates that drive to keep going because your brain senses you're on the right track. And you can see that effect right here. When you feel like you're making even a little bit of progress, your dopamine levels shoot up, making you feel motivated and energized. But the second you feel stuck, that dopamine just plummets. That sudden drop, that is the biological trigger that makes you want to quit. It's not some character flaw, it's a chemical reaction. So, this is the secret. Unstoppable people don't just sit around and wait for motivation to strike. No, they create their own dopamine. They do it by focusing on the process. They track the tiniest of wins, they break down massive goals into small steps, and they reward the effort they put in, not just the final outcome. They basically become masters of their own brain chemistry. And this brings us to our next really big idea, one that goes against everything we're usually taught. We're all told to avoid stress at all costs, but what if that's completely wrong? It all comes down to this simple equation. Stress, when you get it in the right doses, is actually the thing that causes growth. It sharpens your focus, it boosts your energy. The real enemy isn't the stress itself, it's the lack of recovery. Think about it. Elite performers don't run from stress, they run towards it, and then they make recovery a top priority. Without that balance, that same exact stress leads straight to burnout. So we've got the brain chemistry down, and we've got the physical formula for growth. But what's running the whole show? What's the operating system for all of this? Well, that would be your identity. This is such a powerful concept from neuroscience. Your brain has this deep primal need to act in a way that is consistent with how you see yourself. It's always looking for evidence to prove your identity right. And this is why you don't rise to the level of your goals. You always fall to the level of your identity. Just look at the difference here. On the left, saying I'm trying implies that it's a struggle, that failure is a real possibility. But on the right, saying I am, that's a statement of fact. It's a settled identity. So when that alarm clock goes off in the morning, the person on the right isn't having a debate about whether to get up. Their brain just does the thing that aligns with who they are. It's a tiny shift in language with a massive impact on your behavior. All right, let's pull all the science together. Let's turn it into a simple, powerful system that you can start using like today. So here it is, your system. Number 1, track your small wins every day to keep that dopamine flowing. 2, when you're faced with a choice, choose based on your identity, not your feelings in the moment. 3, embrace challenges but make recovery just as important. 4, build systems and habits so you don't have to rely on flimsy motivation. And finally, number 5, do one thing that makes you a little uncomfortable every single day. That's how you build your tolerance. This is literally the instruction manual. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Think about all those times you might have quit or given up on something. That wasn't a reflection of your character. You weren't weak. It was just a reflection of your training. You were using the wrong strategy. You were trying to fight your own biology instead of working with it. So, the science is clear. The tools are proven. And now, the only thing left is a choice. It's a choice between the comfort of doing things the way they've always been done and the incredible growth that comes from putting these ideas into practice. The choice is yours.